Greetings everyone, Eric here, and welcome back to another video. This one's going to be a little different. It's kind of a bit of an update as well as just showing you something. Basically, I'm going to be showing you some animation kind of stuff. That's kind of what I've been wearing. Like, videos have been kind of lackluster lately because, or I should say non-existent. Let me move that. Mainly because I had been trying to fix my computer. Things still aren't perfect. My tablet's been acting up a little bit, and I'm not sure why. Contacting the company, we're kind of back and forthing and doing a little bit of trial and error. Also, new webcam. I hope the quality looks pretty good. It's supposed to be a really good webcam from Logitech. It is 1080p, all that kind of stuff. It's streamers love to use it, so thought I would give it a try. And yeah, I thought I would show you what I was working on. Funny enough, the background of my computer is very fitting because as I'm just getting into animation again after many, many years of not getting into animation, and I wanted to try something, so I thought I would do a redraw of an existing scene. So it's a Dragon Ball scene. It's the most famous scene. It's the, you know, over 9,000, except I'm doing the correct version. I'm doing the over 8,000, the redub of it. And I'm actually doing a decent bit of the scene. So as you can see here, this is the over 8,000 folder. It's got a lot of my stuff in here. Over here we have like backgrounds. You can ignore that, actually. I can get rid of that. That was a reference. So this is where I'll be keeping all the background images. I'm really not good at painting. In fact, the first background I did was this one. Fucking terrible, by the way. But I just needed to get something. It was better than what I could do in the other program. I'd probably redo that eventually. This is the second background I've done. This is the one behind the character. I like this one a little bit better. I think I'm kind of getting into a little bit of a stylistic thing here that I'm kind of... I like this for this type of animation. So yeah, I've got those two backgrounds. I got to make a bunch more because there's a bunch of scenes. I've broken everything down into different scenes within the one long set. It's like a 2-minute video. In fact, I have the original video right here. This is the original video of what it looks like. I'm going to mute my mic real quick so you can kind of watch it with me. Just part of it.
Oh no! You do not want to make that face at me! Ha! Unless that's the look you want to greet your friends with on the other side. This ends now, and you're gonna pay!
And so that's all I've gotten pretty much. Well, I don't have this part done, actually. I still need to do the rocks lifting up in the air, but I'll figure that out. And then onward. But as you can see, it's like a 2-minute long thing. He goes into like the actual fighting. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do some of the fight scenes, like all this crazy stuff of them like punching. I'll have to figure that out myself. But I'm definitely gonna at least do up to the, you know, over 8,000 part where he crushes. I'm gonna at least do all that, but we'll see how far I actually go. Anyway, I cut the audio off of that so that I could actually work on it, and basically I'm just showing you my process of what I've been doing so far. So I've been using a combination of Clip Studio and Moho Studio. Clip Studio, you might recall, used to be called Manga Studio, but it's Clip Studio now. It has animation into it, but it's very basic frame-by-frame drawing. There's no audio allowed yet. They may add that someday. Moho Studio is from Smith Micro as well. It's their animation software. It used to be called Anime Studio, but they changed the name. It's definitely... even they added frame-by-frame animation finally, because before it was mostly just puppet animation. Where you would rig up a character and then you would move the pieces or move them with bone rigging and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm doing a combination of both depending on what I need. So for here, this is scene 3. This is the part where he's standing and then he goes into the power stance to charge. I started it off inside of Clip Studio, which I'll show here. Let's give that a sec. Thanks for the load. Ignore the green background. That was just for when I was coloring. I'll even get rid of that. So this is the scene. So you can see here I have multiple... Oh, here, let me actually change it to the animation workspace. So this is a version I did. And I actually ended up going with this one because I did two. I did a puppet version and I did this version. This is frame by frame. So you can see here, down here you can see all the different animation frames and cells. A cell, it's really like, I'd have to go into what cells are and all that. Cells is what the image actually is on, and it's clear. In real talk, from real animation, a cell is actually a clear plastic type of material, and you would put the image and paint on the back, and then you would set that down, take a picture, next cell, take a picture, and you would do that for every frame of animation or every frame of movement. So here, I have to do that for all the different things. I have the main outline as, here, let me actually, so I have the outline as one folder, and it has a bunch of cells inside. Then I have the shadows, which is on its own folder set of cells. And then we have the colors, same thing. And then what you would do is you would animate this. And so as I go a certain amount of frames, you can see it's animating. So as you go different frames, it moves. And then this one is just repeating of 2 different frames of the exact, it's the exact same frame technically. But as you can see, it's, the difference is that I redrew the frame. Here, let me zoom in a little bit. So that it'd be slightly off from each other. So that you would get kind of that stutter, to make it look like he's like tensing up and his body's tensing up. That's actually what they did in the real thing. Like, I actually watched frame by frame the original animation of that just to see kind of how they did it. And then for this version, for this, I mostly copied just what they did because I was like, it works, why not just do it? But I didn't trace over anything. I redrew it myself just to kind of teach my brain how to do it. I did storyboard this too, partially. I have most of it storyboard. I need to do the rest of the storyboards. In fact, here, let me open up the storyboard. So this is what the storyboard looked like originally. And a storyboard is literally just key moments of what's going on. They're usually still images. So you can see this was one still of Nappa. And then I had one where he goes, ha, and then back into talking, which is just that first frame. Then Goku talking. He says, you know, this ends now, you're going to pay, as you saw in the other scene. And then we go into this one where I have that as one moment, and then I have him getting ready to charge up, and then, huh! And then a couple key animations. Now, before, I did not have all of this. Like, this I actually did recently. Before, when I was storyboarding this, I did not have all this. I had that frame, I had the ha, and then I had the, and then I had that. So before, I did not have some of these extra frames here. And then I have this scene where the rocks are going to float up. Then I have this scene where he's standing back, powering up, and the rocks are going to be kind of coming up. Then Nappa and Vegeta's kind of reacting. This is going to be mostly still, but it's going to be like shaking. And I believe that's it so far, and I still need to do more. I believe this next scene is going to be Nappa on his own, kind of reacting and reeling back from like, what the heck, you know, kind of thing. So that's all that. That's this frame of animation. Let's go back to the beginning. So I don't even need that file anymore because it's pretty much done. So if we close that, we have the Moho files. And each of the Moho files is for each scene. And I broke it up into the different scenes for my own sake of basically making it easier for me. So I have scene 1, which is just Nappa talking. Scene 2, which is Goku responding. Scene 3 is actually going to be 2 things. It's going to be him going down to charge and then the rocks coming up, because the second part of that where the rocks come up, that's not a big event. Like, that's nothing that's going to cost a lot of extra work. So I figure I can put that in with it and have them rendered together to save rendering time. But then the scene where he goes back to him charging, that'll be another scene. The reeling back where it's Vegeta and Nappa. Vegeta and Nappa, actually, because those two are actually in the scene together and all that's going to be happening is a little bit of camera shaking and rocks flying up, I might do Goku charging again, and then the other thing is as one scene, just to help myself out. But just to give you an idea, I'll open up scene 3 of the Moho file. This is Moho Pro 12. This is the professional version. I got it while it was 50% off. It was like $200. Normally it's going to be like $400. But yeah, here's what Moho looks like. And I actually will show you both versions. So the background you can see is back there. Here's the main character. You can see all the layers here. These were all reference layers while I was drawing things. I actually have multiple things going on here, so you'll have to kind of see what's going on. You see all your layers here. This is Goku colors. This is just a color chart that's in behind this. It's not rendered when anything's, so I can turn that off. I have the actual background, which is right here. That's its own layer. The audio, so I can edit over the audio, is right there. I cut up the audio so that I have each scene's audio that I can put here and animate to. This sixth thing actually comes in later. Comes in right here. Right, boop, there it goes. And that's just a reference of the rocks, so I know where I put them, and then I'll animate up, and then that'll be gone. So that whole layer right there, that whole layer right there, will be gone in the final image. It's just referenced, so that I have it there, so I know how long. I already plotted out how many frames it takes, so it goes not from 0, from 1 to 144 frames. So that's how long this whole set is. And then that cut in comes in around, I think, yeah, 93 frames. And that's when the rocks are going to start coming up. But just to kind of give you an idea, so you can see here, and I guess I can play the animation. The audio is actually turned up, so I'm actually going to mute that real quick. But you can see here when I play it, it's going to play a little rough because there's a lot going on. Let me come over here. Yeah, it's a little rough right now because it's trying to do a lot. You can see here he goes down and he goes into his power stance. And then, yeah, actually right here is where he starts charging. You start seeing glowing effect coming around him. There's a certain effect that you can't see because it's not going to render here. But if I were to render just this still, right here, where is the glow? Oh, haha, glow's not on. Yeah, there we go. You can see there's like a bit of a glow effect going on behind him. And it actually is supposed to get brighter as it goes. In fact, if I render that, there you go, you can see it now. So he's going to have a glow around him, and it comes in, the glow fades in, so that you can kind of see him slowly charging up. So I have that version, which is the frame-by-frame version, but I also have another version. If I turn that off, no, actually, I want the R spikel. Turn all that off. So yeah, the inks and all. The head had to be a separate layer because I forgot to draw his face in the original frame, because originally that was much higher, and so you wouldn't have seen his mouth in the original way. But I pulled the camera back, and I was like, oh crap, I didn't put it in there, so I had to make a new face, which works fine. In fact, that's unneeded. Which works fine, because then I have this. This is the puppet version, and that's where I copied the face from. This is a puppet version. Now you can see here, those are all bones. This is rigging. This is bone rigging the character so that each of these bones controls certain parts of his body. And if I open up the layer here, you can see all these different pieces. So the main folder of Goku, because you have to put everything has to be underneath or inside of the bone layer for the bones to actually take effect. So then I have another layer here, or another folder here, and then you have the head, which is made up of different parts. So the head's made up of the bangs, which is the front part of his hair, his eyes, his mouth, which is a switch layer because I want him to be able to animate his mouth. In order to animate the mouth, you can do a switch layer. So on certain frames, I can tell it to switch from this picture to this picture to make lip flap movements. So you see I have closed, I have teeth, and then I have ha. So I have like different things. I have the head itself, which is the main part of the head and the nose. I have the hair back part, and then that's it for the head. And then I have the body itself, which is mainly the upper torso and the legs. And then I have two separate arms. And the reason I have two separate arms is because he goes from standing pose to kind of a power pose where he has his fists out, like down. And in order to do that properly, I had to make two sets of arms. So I have that arm, and then there's another set of arms you can't see, but they're right back there. And that's why there's two sets of bone riggings for the arms. Each one controls certain arms. So you'll see here, as I go, you can actually see where it cuts off right. This is the frames. This is how you edit frames. Like, this is a point in time. So if I move forward, you see his arms. Like, this actually doesn't count there because that's actually not part of it. But you can see right, boom. So you can see here, I have the arms flexing a little bit. And so you can see here, I have it so that this comes in, boom, here. And they switch arms. So now I have those arms. And you can see the legs starting to animate. And then he comes down. And he kind of has a little bit of a bounce there. Even his hair you can see is moving. So, altogether, if I were to go like that, just to play that. So it has a little bit more of a bounce to it. Also, certain things aren't going to render here because to save CPU usage, like the shadows on some of these parts, as you can see as I move around, some of the shadows are not drawn on there. They're part of the program, but some of them I just drew in myself because I didn't like how the program was doing it. But for these shadows, they look fine. I believe I still have this version as an alternate take. Yeah, right here. So here's the alternate take, which is actually going to be quite... It's going to be quite laggy, so give it a sec. Okay, so right there, you can see it's a little more bouncy, a little more smooth looking, mainly because it's bones moving and articulating pieces. So you get a bit of a softness to it, which I kind of like, which I'm still torn which version I'm going to use. I might use this version because I also like the glow a little bit better. It just came out a little bit better in this version. But yeah, that's basically what I've done so far of this animation. And then I have the actual, what I have so far done right here. So we can actually watch that real quick. Oh wait, so this is the animation I have so far, and it's actually reduced down because this is just test footage. So this is what it looks like so far, and this is using frame by frame on the scene 3.
Oh no! You do not want to make that face at me! Ha! Unless that's the look you want to greet your friends with on the other side. This ends now! And you're gonna pay!
And that's what I've got so far, is just a very simple set of animations. It's first time really doing an actual animation where I'm going through the process of doing all of these extra steps and all this extra stuff. So yeah, sorry if that went on a little bit long. It's almost been 18 minutes. No cutting, no editing here. But yeah, I hope you liked looking at that. If you'd like to see more stuff like that, I actually streamed twice me working on this, one on YouTube. In fact, it might be there. Yeah, in fact, the like 3 hours stream might even be up. But I prefer streaming on Picarto because I can listen to my music and let people listen to my music without worrying about copyright crap. So I'll make sure to post a video, short like 10-second video saying, hey, I'm streaming over on blah, 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 and let you guys know. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, all that other stuff. Subscribe if you want to see more content. If you'd like to see some more videos about animation, let me know and I'll do some stuff on that. Hopefully this will be done, hopefully soonish, depending on how long it takes me to do the backgrounds, especially with the technical issues I've been having. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.